righty, we got Joaquin Buckley versus another name that's hard to pronounce, Nassourdine Imavov. Joaquin Buckley is probably most famous for the craziest knockout victory in UFC history, where he hit a spinning back kick off of a parried kick that he threw. Let's hope that he creates more magic tonight and shows us some crazy knockout victories. I remember Dana White saying that it got like the night of that fight, it went viral on all social media and it got like over 30 million views at the time that the post fight press conference happened. And he has one of the most famous knockouts in the entire history of the UFC. By the way, I have some Pellegrino here, my favorite drink. And if you want to support the channel in any way and you don't want to donate directly to my PayPal, you can do all of your regular Amazon shopping with my Amazon link, which is, of course, all in the description. I also sell martial arts instructionals. All of them are extremely well rated. All of them are best sellers. And all of them have complete 5-star ratings. So people seem to really like them. I teach martial arts for a living, and I'm here to commentate some fights. So let's see, Joaquin Buckley versus Nassourdine Imavov. I'm going to need to practice these names before I get on here because some of them are tough. Like the last fight was ridiculously tough. In the last fight, though, we saw such a beautiful understanding of what happens when you have guys that are in an open stance. And that's a really important thing to understand. And I think that the guy named Roman understood that better, and that was the route to victory for him. So it's one thing to know what you're doing, whether you're fighting a guy who's southpaw or orthodox, but it's more important to understand the relationship of the stance. Where are you guys? Do you guys make a ayatsu or kenkanyatsu stance, which is the Japanese way of saying in judo the relationship of the stance? Is it southpaw versus southpaw or orthodox versus orthodox? That stance relationship is important because even though if you're southpaw or orthodox, it doesn't necessarily matter. If both fighters are southpaw and orthodox, they match up where their hips are considered closed. And whether they have their left leg or their right leg forward, if they both match each other's stance, certain techniques are available. But if they contradict each other's stance, where one fighter is in southpaw and one fighter is in orthodox, like you saw in the last fight, then there are other techniques and strategies available. One of which being the body kick, which lowered the guard of the Italian and ultimately led to his demise in being knocked out, of having to defend his body and getting knocked out with punches to the head. So the understanding of this stance relationship won the fight for Roman Kopylov. So we have another fight right here, though, with Joaquin Buckley versus, one more time that name, Nassourdine Imavov, which is not the easiest name in the history of the world to pronounce. Oh, my goodness. And a huge, huge size difference here between Joaquin Buckley and Mr. Imavov. All right, the tail of the tape, we got Nassourdine Imavov, 27 years old. Joaquin Buckley, 28. Nassourdine Imavov, 6'3" to Joaquin Buckley's 5'10", a 5-inch reach advantage in height. But what's crazy is Joaquin Buckley has the longer limbs with a 76-inch reach, and and Nassourdine Imavov has a 75-inch reach. So a crazy circumstance as far as the height difference and then the limb difference. Just because you are taller or shorter than someone doesn't necessarily mean you have the limb reach advantage. Very, very interesting. This was something that you saw too, like with Max Holloway versus an Alexander Volkanovski, where Max Holloway was the much taller fighter, but Alexander Volkanovski had the longer limbs. So, very interesting kind of matchup in that way, where it could be deceiving. The bigger fighter actually has the shorter reach. We have a beautiful ring card girl. I wonder what her name is. And Joaquin Buckley looking like he's going to take this guy's head off. And Imavov trying to look big and take up as much space as possible. And Joaquin Buckley opening up with some kicks, a great strategy against the taller fighter. It's really interesting to see the height differential in this one, and Joaquin Buckley, most famous for his crazy knockouts. We're 30 seconds in here to round one, and Joaquin Buckley really managing the range and managing the distance, throwing his kicks in this fight so far. Hey, Ken Shaloya says, my great son, I love you so much, Dad. Thank you for tuning in. I think my dad's at the gym right now, but he's still tuning in to watch me do a little bit of commentary. Much love, Dad, and make sure you are lifting those weights at the gym. Thank you for the support, though, and I love you so much. We are 1 minute into this first round here, and so far the story of this fight so far has been Joaquin Buckley throwing a lot of kicks. Oof, and Imavov doesn't like what's happening here, so he comes down the pipe with some straight punches. A great way to mix things up is when someone throws kicks, you come straight down the middle with some strikes, and that's what you're watching happen right now. So Joaquin Buckley recognizes this, switches his strategy, and is throwing more of boxing-oriented style now. And then he goes in and he looks for the takedown, pushes the bigger man up against the fence, and adapts as soon as his opponent adapts to him. Interesting that Joaquin Buckley lets Imavov take the center of the ring, and interesting tactics here. Imavov looking like he wants to get at Joaquin Buckley, and his mouthpiece had fallen out of his mouth, and the referee tried to stop things, and Imavov was almost bullying the referee into wanting to get a free shot out of Buckley. A nice 1-2 there from Buckley. Connor Jimmy says, show fight. I wish I could, Connor, but I will get a copyright claim on this video. So unfortunately, I can't. Much love and much respect to you, though, Connor Jimmy. I hope you stay along and you listen to my commentary. All right, so we got this same idea in those mixed stances. Oh, a nice kick thrown by Joaquin Buckley, caught and slipped away from Imavov. Connor Jimmy says, good man. All right, thank you, Connor. Hope you stick around and feel free to comment anything you want in that chat. I respond to all comments in the chat. Beautiful elbow off the break here from Imavov. A certain addition to what's happening in the UFC is the elbows off the break in the clinch have become a major component of the UFC, and you will notice this happen in most fights. Joaquin Buckley is excellent with his kicks, with the dexterity in his legs, and can really just throw those kicks out there with such smoothness and such grace. But you can see it's sort of difficult for Joaquin Buckley to find his range with his punches, and really seems to be establishing range with his kicks. Connor Jimmy says, say hello to Ellie Louise Kilmore for me. Not sure who Ellie Louise Kilmore is, Connor Jimmy, but thank you for commenting. If you could tell me who Ellie Louise Kilmore is, I would be interested in knowing. All right, we got Imavov pushing Joaquin Buckley against the fence, and Buckley reverses the situation. The key here is getting your underhooks. If you have the underhook, then you have the advantage, and you see both guys having 100. Oh, a major elbow off of the break here for Imavov. And it seems to have cut Buckley and really started to bother him and change the outcome of this fight so far. Oh, and a takedown attempt from Buckley ends him up in the bottom of the mount here with Imavov teeing off on him with 13 seconds left in the round. Very bad news for Buckley, turning away from him. 7 seconds left. It looks like he'll survive this round. And he gets his wrist pinned, also known as the Dagestani handcuff, and gets punches unloaded to his face. Man, Joaquin Buckley was doing everything right in that round, and then in the last second of that round, things went terribly wrong from him. But it all started with that elbow off of the break, which caused a desperation panic shot, and ended up Joaquin Buckley in the bottom of the mount. Connor Jimmy says, "My mom." Okay, well, Connor, I don't know your mom. But if I did, I would definitely say hello to her for you. Much love and respect, my man. We got the commercial going right now, but we should be back for another round of action coming along soon. This is a 3-round fight, so we shall see what comes of it. The question is, how do you score that round? And I guess you're going to have to give it to Imavov, even though a beautiful front kick to the face of Joaquin Buckley they're showing here, which caused that mouthpiece incident. And it was pretty even until the last 10, 20 seconds of the round. And it's really important to score at the end of the round so that you are the last thing in the judges' minds while they're tallying the score for that round. We're into the second round here, 20 seconds in. Both fighters still kind of reading the range, finding the distance. Joaquin Buckley seems to have a strategy of liking to be on the outside, doesn't mind giving the center away to Imavov, and sort of wants to stick and move, stick and move, stick and move, but with a kick strategy. Connor Jimmy says, "Oh, my brother said hi. He's called Ice Willow Come." I don't know what to tell you, Connor Jimmy. Maybe you're playing some kind of trick on me. Is Ellie Louise Kilmore? Ellie Louise Kilmore. Is that some sort of name where if you say it, yep, you got me with something. You got me with something. You got me so distracted. I don't know what's happening in the fight. Oh, well, what can you do? There was some sort of timeout. Something happened. Maybe it was an eye poke. Maybe it was a groin strike. And they are paused right now. They're showing it on replay. Oh, yes, an eye poke. Connor Jimmy over here making me say some bullshit. Shout out, though, to Connor Jimmy. Respect. You got me good. Connor Jimmy, make sure you throw in the comments some more of those names that make you seem like you're saying some shit that you're not. Joaquin Buckley is starting this second round, comes out of the break from the eye poke and really finding some home for those kicks. Having a little bit of trouble dealing with this, the bigger fighter here with Imavov. Connor Jimmy says, "I can't think of any more disappointing, Connor. Look it up online and throw them in the chat." That's what I got to say to you. You can't just hit me with one of these and then you put "come" in the name. I mean, sheesh. That was it was too obvious. It was too obvious. You gotta throw something else in there. There was a famous video on YouTube where um, they really got some teachers good, where they had a list of students with all sorts of names, and the teachers were saying it on like the megaphone, and it was all stuff like that. Anyway, 2 minutes 23 seconds left in the second round, and um, seemingly the same strategy here. Oh, Imanov goes for a takedown for the first time in the fight. Really, no telegraph on that takedown, and it surprises Buckley and gets him to the floor. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to reap the legs of Buckley and keep his legs completely flattened and straight out, sort of like a Khabib type style. And he's got a very good situation where he's got this wrist pin and he's got control of the opposite side leg. So he's going to use this to take the back now, and he looks like he's attacking a rear naked choke here. This is deep. This is major trouble for Joaquin Buckley. He's got a palm-to-palm grip, and this could be the end of the fight here. Joaquin Buckley's looking to peel some hands, and he does. Gets out by a narrow margin, but he's not out of danger yet. It looks like he's got a full body triangle, and he is in a situation to finish this fight with 1 minute left in the second round. I have a whole instructional on how to finish from the back here. I would love to see more MMA fighters trap an arm. And here you see a rear naked choke attempt, but the problem is the gloves get in the way. So you need a different way than going hand over hand to finish this. There's methods where you can go around and lock up the rear naked strangle this way. And if you're able to hold on to the trap, there's ways to find room and find space for your glove. And you see fighters like Paddy Pimblett really utilizing an arm trap to successfully get the rear naked choke here. We got another attempt, 20 seconds left, and Buckley using the strategy of keeping his hands in and pushing up on the elbow to defend from this choke. And time. Good defense from Joaquin Buckley there, and that was some questionable sportsmanship. Imanov sort of was still backpacking him when he got up and was still sort of attached to him at the end of the round. Ellie Louise Kilmore. Ellie Louise Kilmore. I don't know what that one is, my friend. Connor, if you're still in the chat, let me know what I'm supposed to be saying on the Ellie Louise Kilmore. That one's pretty weak. That one's pretty weak. The other one's pretty solid though. Oh, I must admit. All right. Third round right here. We're 15 seconds in. Oh, and Joaquin Buckley comes in with some major strikes, and Imanov uses it as a strategy to take the back here. Let's see if Imanov can get some headway on a finish here. Beautiful takedown defense from Joaquin Buckley here, using his hips very well, pummeling in an underhook and getting back to an upper body clinch. Ooh, a nice knee off of the end of the clinch by Imavov. Seems to really be showing he is a threat at the 185 pounds division. And, oh, a flying knee attempt met with a haymaker punch from Joaquin Buckley. I wonder too if he feels any pressure that he has to create a spectacular knockout, since he's most famous for doing that in another fight, and if that weighs out on him at all in the fight. And it seems, too, that Imavov is much better able to read the distance of Joaquin Buckley. And those kicks that Joaquin Buckley was sticking and moving at in the first round or two don't have the same effect anymore. There's a kind of thing in a fight where you see one fighter really start to adapt to the style of the other fighter and then sort of take over. And I think that that's something that we've seen with this fight, where Imavov is starting to sort of take over. But just as I say that, you see some big punches from Buckley, and a takedown attempt from Imavov. A little bit sloppy here. I wonder if he was affected by any of those punches in a way that could change the pacing of this fight. Oh, and a nice 1-2 from Imavov. Both guys are still definitely in this, and it's really a toss-up still. You see, though, how Joaquin Buckley, when he attempts to take a shot, he's just so far off, having trouble taking down the bigger man. Oh, and a nice elbow off the break from Imavov. Oh, and you can see Buckley's still a little rocked from it. And Buckley just throwing caution to the wind and throwing some crazy haymakers himself. Oof, and a nice Muay Thai clinch from Buckley. Lands a beautiful knee on Imavov's chin. This is a dogfight down to the last minute here of the last round. Some underhooks from Joaquin Buckley. Looking to do some leg trips, some Osotogari, which is a basic outer reaping throw. Don't see that too often. Oh, and then he goes inner reaping throw and hits him with, what's that called in Japanese? I'll think of it in a minute. 25 seconds left in this third round. And both guys are exhausted, tired, have thrown caution to the wind, and are just throwing the kitchen sink at each other. Hands down, just wailing on each other. A crazy last couple seconds of this fight here. But time. Looks like Imavov will probably take it, and Joaquin Buckley literally just lays down from complete exhaustion. All right, coming up next, the official decision. Connor, Jimmy, if you're still there, shame on you for your dirty mind. All right. We got an ad playing right now. If you guys want, check out any of the links in the description. Support the channel. I'm out here working hard. Or am I hardly working? I don't know. I think that Joaquin Buckley probably lost this one, and this should be a win for Imavov. But we shall see. And it seems that the superior size of Imavov should have been a major aid in winning him this fight. It's great to see, though, the incredible dexterity that Joaquin Buckley has with his legs. He can really throw those kicks, and you can see how he has that extremely impressive knockout with that spinning back kick. Just such dexterity in his legs. All right. Bruce Buffer with the official decision. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27 for Imavov, just like I predicted, and a great fight. Great fight. All right, I will see you guys live for the next one.